headlines magically start to change. Black Lives Matter gets a platform on TV. We start watching black men die in the streets, and it's always just in time for the election cycle.
The election cycle will be coming up very soon.
Hey, I'm 18. I come from a conservative family, but I'm still figuring out my political beliefs. And Trump's comments about white nationalism, about how he doesn't believe it's a real issue. What do you think about that, and how FBI has actually confirmed that it's a rising number of hate groups in the United States?
So, to be super precise what he said. He said, the question was, do you think it's a rising issue? He said these people are animals. They're horrible people. Yes. They should be condemned. I just want to be very clear to make sure that his comments...
Yeah,
I don't think white supremacy is a rising issue in America. I think the issue always tends to rise right around election season. Isn't it weird? Racism always comes back right around election season. It's remarkable if you pay attention to it. The headlines magically start to change. Black Lives Matter gets a platform on TV. We start watching black men die in the streets, and it's always just in time for the election cycle. I don't buy in.
The election cycle will be coming up very soon. Some would argue we're already kind of in it, because there have been presidential debates and both presidential candidates are campaigning right now. So let's see if there's any truth to what she's saying. Practically, the student asked, is white supremacy on the rise in the United States? This question always confused me. Well, not necessarily the question, but the fact that this is a common question always confused me, because as we move further, as we progress further from the civil rights movement, not only are minorities getting more freedoms, they're getting more opportunities. They are literally getting more fairness. And some would argue they're getting something that's above fairness. They're getting favoritism. So the fact that this conversation, white supremacy, being on the rise, it's kind of ironic that this is a conversation, because some would argue that it's the opposite, that it's minority supremacy on the rise, or black supremacy. But let's continue, and I hope you enjoy this video.
Into the media hype. So the reason why is because I'm black, right? So I actually don't need to read an article written by the Washington Post or FBI data to know whether or not America is racist. I just need to walk down the street, right? I don't need to find out from a white liberal group whether or not America is a racist country, because I am black. And the first person that will find out if America is racist is me, because I'm black. So what I would caution you to realize is that the timing of them telling us that white supremacy is on the rise, a metric which I don't know what they're measuring it by. Are people writing into the FBI and saying I'm a white supremacist, include me in your data? I don't even actually know how they're even doing the metrics for that. But the timing of it is very fishy. It's always suspicious, and something that I speak about a lot at Blexit rallies.
And when they can't get the black community, then they start pandering to the Hispanics. And now all of a sudden, if you want legal immigration, it's xenophobic. Like, when has that ever been a thing in the history of the United States?
Xenophobia is on the rise.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden, like, okay, well, here we are obviously not racist, and yet here we are all called race traitors and white supremacists and, you know, the KKK, because we are literally upholding the values and the standards of what makes the United States a sovereign nation.
And that actually is a big concern of mine. One thing I've noticed, and the reason I'm pointing out, let me preface this by saying the reason I'm going to point out the Democratic Party is because I have not necessarily seen it with the Republican Party. One thing I've seen in a lot of Democratic talking points or Democratic initiatives is they try to tie your race into who you vote for. They try to imply that if you do not vote a certain way, your race or your identity is up for question. I noticed that a lot with the Democratic Party. And how do I notice that? She just brought up immigration. If she is for legal immigration, she's getting painted as, and she quoted this, a race traitor or xenophobic. How are you a race traitor if you support legal immigration? Do you see the wordplay going on here? You're a race traitor if you don't support my policy. And what is immigration? What is the rise of immigration or illegal immigration? That's democratic. The rise of illegal immigration is a democratic thing. Not to throw shade at the Democratic Party. Do what y'all do. But you see what happens here? They try to use your race as kind of a manipulative tactic to make you vote a certain way. And because of that, it makes you not want to vote that way. It makes you kind of want to do other things. Like, why is my identity as a black person tied to if I vote for a Democratic or Republican candidate who's not even black? It's the weirdest thing ever. It's Anyways, let's continue.
I got a problem. We're in South Carolina, a great state. Anybody here hate diversity, hate black people, hate Hispanic people?
Didn't think so.
I didn't think so. I think we're good.
And part of the reason why I began to question this is because of my own personal experiences. For example, at Boys State last year, held right here in South Carolina, it was right at the end, and everyone was going around shaking each other's hands, and I witnessed one of my peers, another white male, refuse to shake the hand of a black male in my city. And that shook me to the core. I didn't realize how much this would affect someone. And he just brushed it off like it was no big deal. He said, I'm not a victim, but at the same time, myself, I wouldn't know how to go about that. If that continued throughout my life, I don't know what I would do.
But don't feel bad for him. He's the guy that has to deal with it. That's why I keep telling you, there are idiots everywhere. There are people that hate people.
I should feel bad
but
for him
but what I'm saying is you just said he didn't feel bad. So you don't need to carry this burden if he didn't feel bad. This is what I say to people all the time. You don't have to worry. You don't have to feel bad for me. And this is something that I talk about all the time.
And Candace Owens is right, man. The reason why he's telling you not to worry about it is because you never know what anyone has gone through in their life. And until that you've had to go through your own hardships, your own successes, but especially your own hardships, some things in life just don't matter. If an idiot doesn't want to shake your hand, okay, whatever, don't shake my hand. You're not going to make me sleep. You're not going to make me sleep any worse at night. Just know, I don't care if you don't shake my hand. Because when you've actually gone through some real life things, stuff like that doesn't faze you. It really doesn't faze you. That's not going to make the black student any broker or any less successful or any less intelligent because some random bigot doesn't want to shake their hand. Don't shake it then. That doesn't change my life at all. And that's basically what a lot of conservatives are saying. They're saying just because a random racist idiot doesn't want to shake your hand, that will not make your life any worse in America. It won't. You can still be successful. You can still be extremely successful. That's what they're saying. You can still have a nice family. You can still achieve everything you want in this country. There are isolated incidents of racism. There are isolated incidents of bigotry for every race and every group of people in this country. But do not let that stop you from chasing your dreams, which, God bless it, in America, you can still chase your dreams despite what you look like.
Which is that it's undermining to me when people think that they have to feel bad for me. It's great you have a tremendous heart, and it's great that it affected you, and I'm not insulting you whatsoever for that. But what I'm saying is that there's always going to be idiots everywhere. Do not let people convince you that society is perfectible. It's not. We're human beings. There's always going to be a racist somewhere, a sexist somewhere, someone who's weird, someone who doesn't like children, right? There's people that are like, I just don't like kids, right? That's a weird thing, right? There are people that don't like women, right? They think that they're pathetic and awful, don't like dogs, don't like cats. You're always going to find hate if you're looking for it, okay? But don't let that mean that demonstrates that somehow you live in a hateful society and then project that because one person didn't shake someone's hand, that now means white supremacy is on the rise. That's a really big leap to make, okay?
Facts, man. You have any suggestions, comment them down below. LFR Jojo, and I'll see you guys on the next one.